Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are on the third chapter of this book, Perfect Question, Perfect Answers. And this chapter is entitled The Real Goal of Life. So like we mentioned in the initial that Bob Cohen's meeting with Srila Prabhupada was only for 3 days. And this we can see is February 28th. So chapter 1 was February 27th, chapter 2 and chapter 3 is February 28th, both of them. And Bob Cohen also mentions in the introduction that actually the real initial first meeting that he had with Prabhupada was not recorded. And later only the devotees, especially the secretary at that time, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, realized that it was such a good conversation, we should record it. So what we read as chapter 1 was actually the second meeting. Right. So anyways, we're just understanding the perspective. So let us begin this discussion. Srila Prabhupada starts this time by saying, this movement is especially meant to enable a human being to reach the goal of life. So Krsna consciousness is meant for human beings to actually unleash the ultimate highest potential of human form of life, right? The goal of life is Krsna consciousness. So Bob asks, is the real goal of life to know God? Robert says, yes, to go back home, back to Godhead. That is the real goal of life. And actually, like we discussed before, we see that all religions agree to this. They may not, advocate or lead people to it, but everyone agrees that we need to actually come out and go back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada continues to say, the water that comes from the sea forms the clouds fall down as rain, and the actual goal is to flow down the river and again enter the sea. Prabhupada is giving the water cycle. So we have come from God and now we are embarrassed in this material life. And therefore our aim should be to get out of this embarrassing situation and go back home, back to Godhead. This is the real goal of life. So the biggest thing is to realize that our material sojourn, our material existence is very embarrassing, right? So much suffering, so much problems. So everything we desire, we get the opposite thing. Nothing lasts, right? So we are embarrassed by it. Embarrassed means we are frustrated, humiliated by this existence. Prabhupada quotes a verse in Bhagavad Gita. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. This is the version of Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 15th verse. Krishna says, if anyone comes to me, he does not come back again. Where? To this place, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So, mam upetya, if you get me, Krishna is saying, punarjanma, you do not take birth again. Where? Dukkhalayam ashashvatam, in this material world, which is place of misery, dukkha alayam, and ashashvatam. It is not shashvat, it's not eternal. This place is a place of misery as well as temporary. This place is the abode of miseries. Everyone knows it, but they have been befooled by so-called leaders. Material life is miserable life. Krishna says, God says that this place is dukkha alayam. It is a place of misery, and it's also ashashvatam, temporary. You cannot make a compromise. All right, let it be miserable. I shall remain here as an American or as an Indian. No, you cannot do that also. You cannot remain as American. You may think that having been born in America, you are very happy, but you cannot remain an American for long. You will have to be kicked out of that place, right? For all of us, death will come, change our entire condition, change our entire situation, right? Everything will change with the power of time. Therefore, it's very frustrating. You build a big enterprise, a big, huge nationwide MNC company, and you are gone. Company is there, but you are gone, isn't it? You don't even remember it. Next life, you become a worker in the company. You start doing mopping and cleaning and all in the company. Right? Thinking that, oh, I need to earn from this company. You started the company a few lifetimes ago. You forgot. Your next life, you do not know. Therefore, it is dukkalayam ashashvatam. Miserable and temporary. That is our philosophy. But when you have some knowledge of God, then life is not so miserable. So Bob is asking, but if you have some knowledge of God, then life is not so bad, right? Prabhupada says, no, some knowledge will not do. You must have perfect knowledge. Prabhupada picks up on his word. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha. So here Prabhupada is quoting this verse in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 9th verse. Janma karma cha me divyam. Krishna says that my birth and my janma, Krishna's birth and Krishna's karya and activities, karma, are all transcendental, divyam. And one who knows this tatvata. Tatvata means completely, scientifically, in truth. So that's the point Prabhupada is saying. You cannot say that I have some knowledge of God. Tatvataha means perfectly. Perfect knowledge is being taught in the Bhagavad Gita. So we are giving everyone in this human society a chance to learn the Bhagavad Gita as it is and make his life perfect. That is the Krsna Consciousness Movement. What does your science say about transmigration of the soul? Prabhupada is challenging Bob, being a science teacher. Bob says, I think that science cannot deny or affirm it. Science doesn't know. We don't say yes, we don't say no. It's always a safe answer, people think. Prabhupada says, therefore, I say that your science is imperfect. So Bob says, science may, though, say something. It is said in science that energy is never destroyed, it is changed. Prabhupada says, that is all right. But how is that energy working in the future? You say energy is not destroyed, but what that energy becomes? That science does not know. How is the energy being diverted? How? By different manipulations is the energy working differently. For instance, Prabhupada says, electrical energy, by handling, it's operating the heater and it's operating the refrigerator. One for heating, one for cooling, but both is electricity only. They are just the opposite, but the electrical energy is the same. Similarly, this energy, living energy, jiva, how is it being directed? Which way is it going? How is it fructifying in the next life? That they do not know. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very simply stated, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. So Prabhupada is quoting this verse, 2nd chapter, 22nd verse of Bhagavad Gita, which speaks about the soul transmigration, giving it an analogy compared to a cloth. Vasamsi jirnani, when your clothes are old, yata vihaya, naturally you throw it away. Navani grinati, you wear new clothes. Nara aparani, right? One just simply, a person accepts other new clothes. So when clothes are worn out and old, one throws it away and one wears other new clothes. Tata, in that same way, sharirani vihaya jirnani, that old, useless, worn out body is thrown away at time of death. Anyani samyati navani dehi. And again, he has to accept some other new body. Right? This analogy is given. So this is the science of transmigration. Prabhupada says, you are covered by a shirt or a coat. When this shirt and coat is unusable, you change it. When it's worn out, torn. Similarly, this body is like a shirt and coat. When it's no longer workable, we have to change it. So this we, Bob catches on. Bob says, what is the we that has to change? What is that constant? If body is not constant, body keeps on changing. What is the constant? What is that we that you say we have to change it? Prabhupada says, that is the soul. Soul is eternal. So Bob says, from one life to the next, that is the soul. Prabhupada says, I, what you is speaking of. What I is speaking of. When we say you, I, who is that identity? It's not this body. That identity is Atma or soul. Right? Like we say, my phone, my book, that means it belongs to something. But we say my hand, that means the hand belongs to someone. My head, head belongs to someone. If I was this body, I should say I hand, I head. We should say like that, but we don't. We do not say like that. So therefore, who is the real identity? The Atma. So Bob says, asks a very interesting question. My soul is different from your soul. Is it the souls are also different? Prabhupada says, yes. You are an individual soul and I am an individual soul. Then Bob says, you have removed yourself from karmic influences. Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha, liberated associate of the Lord. If I were to remove myself from karmic influences, would our souls be the same? So now you're a Mukta, Bob is thinking, Prabhupada, you're a great soul. So therefore you're saying we are not the same. But if let's say I also come out of this karma, then do we both become one? Do we both become the same? Prabhupada says the soul is of the same quality in all. That means every soul is Satchit Ananda. My soul, your soul, all is Satchit Ananda. Same quality, but not the same personality. Right? You are under a certain conception of life at the present moment, and these countrymen of yours, justice to the present devotees, and these countrymen of yours were under a certain conception of life. But by training, they have taken to another conception of life. So this Krishna conscious movement actually is a big training facility. It's a beautiful training facility. People come in, learn how to act, how to live a civil life, how to live a clean life, how to live a pure life, how to live a life with goals and aims, right? And purposes. So the ultimate training is how to become Krishna conscious. That is perfection. So Bob is still confused about this. He asks, if two people are Krishna conscious, two Krishna conscious souls, are their souls the same? So same here means what? In one sense, same means do they look the same? Are they character the same? Or they are exact same? So Prabhupada says the soul is always the same. Same here means that they are Satchidananda. Just if you could take two apples, I say, is this the same? Yeah, they're fruit. They're both apples. But in one sense, no, because this apple has its individuality and this apple has his individuality. So Prabhupada here says, yes, the soul is same qualitatively. Bob is still confused. In each person, it is the same. That means my soul, your soul. So Prabhupada is saying quality. Yes, Sachit Ananda. Bob is still confused. Bob says, pointing to two devotees. If these two are Krishna consciousness, are their souls the same? Is it one soul? Then Prabhupada understands. Prabhupada says, no. The soul is the same. Sachit Ananda means his soul is made of Sachit Ananda. His soul is made of Sachit Ananda. But it is always individual. Even if one is not Krishna conscious. That means the soul is always an individual. That means I, as a soul, is Sachit Ananda. In the dog's body, that soul is also Sachit Ananda. But I have my individuality that has its individuality. So this is a shloka that comes in Bhagavad Gita, what we are discussing here. Second chapter, 12th verse. Right? Krishna says to Arjuna, Na tvevaham jatunasam natvam neme jana dipaha na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve bhayam atapparam. He says that there was no time, just read the translation here. This proves the soul's individuality. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, Arjuna, nor all these kings, three parties. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. That means I, you, and they. These three parties will always exist. Now you guys change your bodies, you change whatever, but existence as souls are always separate. So the souls are always individual. The souls never get merged. For instance, you are a human being and I am a human being. Even if I am not Christian and even if you are not Hindu, still we are human beings. So like that, souls are the same, like we are human beings. We are Satchidananda. Similarly, the soul may not be Krishna conscious or he may be Krishna conscious. It does not matter. But the soul is the soul, still Satchidananda. Bob becomes very interested in his topic about soul. He asks, can you tell me more about this? So Prabhupada explains, soul as pure spirit, all souls are equal, even in an animal. Therefore, it is said, Pandita Samadarshina. Those who are actually learned do not see the outward covering, either in a human being or in an animal. So this is talking about a shloka which comes in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 18th verse. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. A learned person is one who does, with humility and knowledge, right? With knowledge and humility, he sees a Brahmana, he sees an elephant, he sees a cow, he sees a dog, he sees a dog eater. And he understands that behind this external, everyone is a soul the same. So the soul within me, the soul within you, the soul within the tree, the soul within the dog, we are all souls, but we are not the same souls, right? I have my individuality, they all have their own individuality. But within everything, there is a soul. That's what's keeping things alive and running. So Bob asks, may I ask another question on this? Prabhupada says, yes. I have considered the soul somewhat a part of God. At times, I think, I feel God. I am here, and you may say God is here. So if the soul is inside me, then should I be able to feel God inside me? Not all of God, but I mean, Prabhupada says, part of God. Then Bob says, but I don't feel God in me. But God may be there, separate from me. But should I be able to feel God inside me since my soul is part of God? It's a beautiful question Bob is asking. Soul means all pure. Soul is the son of God. So you feel like soul is so pure, means soul is actually a part of God. And at the same time, it is not separated from God. So soul is within me. That means, is God also within me? He's asking like this, And Prabhupada is amazed. Prabhupada says, yes, this is actually the philosophy of Gita. Prabhupada says, yes, God is also inside. God is everywhere. He is inside you. He's outside also. This is to be known. So Bob asks, how do you feel God within your heart? How do you feel God inside you? Prabhupada says, not in the beginning, but you have to know that from Shastras, the Vedic information. For example, Bhagavad Gita 18.61 says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishyati. God is there in everyone's heart. Huh? So here's the verse in Bhagavad Gita 18.61. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishyati. Lord is situated in every living being's heart. Dog, cat, tree, whatever. So we are souls, and along with the soul, there's also the super soul. God is also sitting. God is in everyone's heart, right? He's the eternal friend. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudani mayaya. So he's always guiding the jiva. So this is actually the real well-wisher in our lives. We may have so many friends, we may have parents, but at one point of time, everyone has to leave us. But God is that person as Paramatma, as the super soul within our heart. He never leaves us. He is always with the Jivatma, life after life. Wherever we may go, the Lord is always with us. So we have our own personal friend. So therefore, he is known as the best of friends. Then Prabhupada quotes this verse, Paramanu Chayantarastam. This is from Brahma Samhita prayer, where Lord Brahma is saying that the Lord is within each atom also, not only within your heart, he's within each atom. God is also within each atom. So this is the first information. And then by the yogic process, you have to realize it. So get the knowledge, and by practicing the yogic process, one can realize this truth of the Lord within the heart. So Bob is saying, yogic process? What is that? Prabhupada says, yes. Bob asks, is chanting Hare Krishna a yogic process? Prabhupada says, yes. It is also a yogic process. So Bob asks, what kind of yogic process must I do to find out, to feel this information, to feel the soul inside me? Prabhupada says, yes, there are many different yogic processes, but for this age, this process is very nice. Chanting, Bob says, yes. Through this, I can feel not only God outside, but God inside. Bob is asking. Prabhupada says, you will understand everything of God. So by chanting, we will slowly come to realize that the Lord in the deity is real. The Lord within our heart is real. That our goal of life is to actually become godly again, like godly, and serve the Supreme Lord. How God is inside, how God is outside, Prabhupada saying, how God is working, everything will be revealed. By this attitude of service, God will reveal himself. Sevon mukehi jivahado, this translation actually. By developing a sincere submission and love for God, God will reveal all knowledge to us. You cannot understand God by your endeavor. Don't try to do a course in trying to understand God. Only if God reveals himself. For instance, when the sun is out of your sight at night, you cannot see it by any torchlight or by any light. Right? There's no, at night, you know the sun is there, but you try to take the torchlight and see where's the sun, where you cannot. But in the morning, you can see the sun automatically when the sun itself reveals himself. Similarly, you have to create a situation. You have to put yourself in a situation in which God will be revealed. Become such a nice devotee that God will reveal himself to you. It is not that by some method you can order God. God, I've done this, please come. Come, I will see you. No, God is not your order carrier. Right? He doesn't carry out our orders. Like a waiter, you call, hey, come here, I want to order something. No, right? We have to act in such a way where Lord reveals himself to us. And how do we act in such a way? Becoming a devotee, becoming humble, praying, taking shelter of the Lord, chanting regularly, sincerely. You must please, so Bob is asking, you must please God for him to reveal himself. Is that correct? Prabhupada says, yes. So Sham Sundar comes in between, Prabhupada's secretary. He asks a question, how do we know when we are pleasing God? How do we know? Prabhupada says, when we see him, you know that if you can see Krishna, see God, that means you have pleased him. Then you will understand. Just as when you eat, you do not require to ask anyone whether you're feeling strength or is your hunger satisfied. When you're eating, you ask, am I full now? Is my hunger satisfied? You automatically understand that, oh, Now I'm tripti, satisfied. If you eat, you understand that you are feeling energy. You don't need to inquire from someone else. Similarly, if you actually serve God, you will understand. God is dictating to me. God is there. I am seeing God. Shamsuna says, oh, God's representative. Prabhupada says, yes. It comes easier in the sense to see God's representative before even God. Prabhupada says, you have to go through God's representative. And he quotes this verse which comes in the Guru Ashtakam, or what in ISKCON we sing during Mangalarati. This is the 8th last verse. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado. If you get Guru's prasada, if you get Guru's mercy, prasad means mercy. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. If you get the mercy of Guru, understood that you have already got mercy of God. If you please God's representative, the Guru, then automatically God becomes pleased. And thus you can directly see him. So how can we please God's representative? Bob asks a very intelligent question. You have to carry out his orders, Prabhupada says. That's all. God's representative is the Guru. He asks you to do this. He asks you to do that. And if you do that, it is pleasing. Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. Continuing that Guru Astakam verse. If you displease the spiritual master, yasya aprasadan, then you are nowhere. Nagati kutopi. Where is your gati? Where are you going? Where's your destination? What is your fate? Nothing. Therefore, we worship the Guru. This is the 7th verse of Guru Astakam. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastre uktastatha bhavyata eva sadve. So, Shastras as well as Sadhu, Sadbir and Shastra, both are speaking that Guru is Sakshat Hari. Guru is directly the personification of God. Guru is as good as God. Who is saying? Shastra is saying, Samasta Shastre. All Shastras are saying, all scriptures are saying, and also Sadhus are saying. The Guru should be accepted as God. But Guru is never God. Accepted as God. Therefore, now ISKCON temples, the puja we do for God and the puja we do for Guru look the same. Because Guru is as good as God because he is the most dear servant of God. Right? Sometimes we see when a very rich man is there, very rich, powerful man, his secretary comes, or his envoy comes, emissary comes, and people respect him as good as God, or as good as the boss. We see this in earlier times when the king was there. King used to send the viceroy, he used to send their representative. And when the king's representative comes, everyone respects him as good as the king. Right? So Guru, spiritual master, is a representative of God. By respecting him, we understand that he is as good as God. But Guru is never God. Guru will never say, I am God. That is wrong. Guru cannot become God. Guru is as good as God. This is the injunction of all Shastra. The Guru should be accepted as a representative of God. Yes, the Guru is representative of God, Prabhupada says. The Guru is an external manifestation of Krishna, Krishna's mercy. Then Bob asks, but different from the incarnations of Krishna that come? So is Guru an avatar, a Vishnu avatar? So he's saying there must be difference, right? Prabhupada says, yes, it's different. It is not an avatar. So Bob asks a question, in what way is the external manifestation of the Guru different from the external manifestation of, let's say, Krishna or Chaitanya when they come? So he's asking Guru Tattva versus Vishnu Tattva. If both are Krishna's mercy, then the various Vishnu Tattvas, Rama, Krishna, Vishnu, Vamana, Hari, Sridhara, Madhava, compared to a Guru, is it the same? What's the difference? So here Guru Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. Srila Prabhupada says, the Guru is a representative of Krishna. So there are symptoms of who is a Guru. The general symptom is described in the Vedas. So Prabhupada here quotes Mundaka Upanishad, which says, Tat Vijnanartam Sagurum Eva Vigachet Samitpane Shrotyam Brahmanishtam. A Guru firstly must come in disciplic succession. Second, he must have heard thoroughly about the Vedas. He must be knowledgeable from his spiritual master, not from YouTube or somewhere. Okay, that's the second qualification. Generally, a Guru's symptom is that he is a perfect devotee. Third, that's all. And he serves Krishna by preaching his message. Four. These are the 4 symptoms of a person who is a Guru. So then Bob still goes back to his question he asked. Lord Chaitanya was a type of Guru, was a different type of Guru than you? Prabhupada said, no. Gurus cannot be of different type. Guru Tattva is one. All Gurus are one type. But Bob says, but he was also an incarnation at the same time. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, he is Krishna himself, but he is representing the Guru. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a little unique. Like he is Vishnu Tattva only, Krishna himself only, but he's playing the part of the Guru Tattva by teaching. Bob says, I see. Prabhupada says, because Krishna was God, he demanded, Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all kinds of religion, all kinds of activities, all kinds of responsibility. Just surrender unto me. This is Bhagavad Gita 18, chapter 66 verse. But people misunderstood him. Therefore, Krishna again came as Guru and taught people how to surrender. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came again to teach people what is the meaning of Sarva Dharma Parityaja. People are thinking that I have to give up everything externally. No, one has to give up one's false sense of proprietorship. Give up one's Ishvara Swabhav. I am master, I am controller, my game, my life. Give that up. So Shyam Sundar says, doesn't Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita say, I am the spiritual master? Srila Prabhupada says, yes, he is the original spiritual master. So Vishnu Tattvas are also Guru, but Guru Tattvas are Jivas who have been specifically empowered because their heart is so pure. Because he was accepted as spiritual master by Arjuna. So in one sense, Krishna is the Adi Guru. So what is the difficulty? Arjuna told to Lord Krishna, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple and a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. So unless Krishna is a spiritual master, how does Arjuna become his disciple? Krishna is the original Guru. So he quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kave. That Lord spoke the science into the heart of Brahma, the original Kavi, Adi Kavi. It is he only who first imparted Vedic knowledge, Brahma here, onto the heart of Brahma, Adi Kavi, the first created being. Therefore, he is the original Guru. Bob says, Krishna. Yes, he is the original Guru. Then his disciple Brahma is a Guru. Then Brahma's disciple Narada is a Guru. Then Narada's disciple Vyasa is a Guru. And in this way is the Guru Parampara, the disciplic succession of Gurus. Guru, disciple, Guru, disciple, Guru, disciple, like that. Evam Parampara Praptam, this fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The transcendental knowledge is received through the disciplic succession. Bob asked a question. So a Guru receives his knowledge through the disciplic succession, not directly from Krishna. Do you receive some knowledge directly from Krishna? He's asking. Prabhupada says, coming through parampara is direct Krishna only. Yes, Krishna's direct instruction is there. Bhagavad Gita, if you take, is Krishna's direct instruction. I see, but so Bob is hoping that, they're getting some direct communion with God or something. So Prabhupada explains, but you have to learn it through the disciplic succession. Otherwise, you will misunderstand. Krishna's direct instruction has to be understood through the chain of gurus. So Bob says, but presently you do not receive information directly from Krishna. It comes through the disciplic succession from these books. Prabhupada says there is no difference. Suppose I say, this is a pencil. If you say to him, this is a pencil, and if he says to another man, this is a pencil, what is the difference between his instruction and my instruction? We are passing on the pencil and I directly go and say this is a pencil. It's the same. The instruction is the same, whether it's coming directly from me or going through the parampara. So Bob understands. Krishna's mercy allows you to know this now, like to understand things. Prabhupada says you can take Krishna's mercy also, provided it is delivered as it is. That means you can also become a guru. You can also become empowered to get Krishna's mercy. But you have to first listen, hear it as it is. Just as we are teaching the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvadhanam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Just give up all other forms of religion and simply surrender unto me. Now we are saying that you should give up everything and surrender to Krishna. Therefore, there is no difference between Krishna's instruction and our instruction, Prabhupada's instruction. There is no deviation. So if you receive knowledge in that perfect way, that is as good as receiving instruction directly from Krishna. But we don't change anything. So sometimes many people ask, I will only follow, I'll only be serious if Krishna directly comes and tells me. So Krishna is speaking through his books, through his Bhagavad Gita. right? Why Krishna doesn't speak to me directly? You cannot order Krishna, right? You're not pleasing Krishna. Why would he come to you? So Bob here asks a very personal question. He says, when I pray reverentially, very much full with emotions, faithfully, does Krishna hear me? Prabhupada says, yes. From me to him, am I praying to him directly? Prabhupada says, yes. Because he is within your heart, he is always hearing you. Whether you are praying or not praying, right? Even if you are thinking, Krishna is hearing. When you are doing some nonsense, he is also hearing you. And when you pray, that is very good. Welcome. So Bob, to Krishna's ear, is praying louder than nonsense? Does Krishna hear the prayers more than he hears our nonsense thought? Prabhupada says, no, no, no. Krishna is all perfect. He can hear everything. Even if you don't speak, even if you simply think, I shall do it, he hears you. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta. Krishna is situated in the heart of everyone. This is Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Bob says, but one should pray. Is that so? Prabhupada says, that is the only business, praying. So when one prays, basically one is making oneself more humble, submissive, and one is taking shelter of the Lord, right? So therefore they say prayers are powerful because it is more favorable. Krishna wants to listen to it. Krishna will hear it better. So the only business of the living entity is actually to pray. Bob asks, whose business? Prabhupada says, every living entity, that is the only business. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. That is the statement of the Vedas. What does it mean? So Prabhupada says, he supplies everything to everyone. God. Eko bahunam yo vidadati. One is supplying to many. He is supplying food to everyone. So he is the Father. So why you should not pray, Father, give me this? Just as in the Christian Bible, there is a prayer, Father, give us our daily bread. Very common in churches. Prabhupada said that is good. They are accepting the Father, but here's the, clincher. Grown-up children should not ask from the Father. Rather, they should be prepared to serve the Father. That is bhakti, devotion. So Sanatan Dharma is the grown-up version, matured version. The other versions, they keep asking, please God, give me this, give me our daily bread. Prabhupada says, the child who has grown up now doesn't ask from the Father. Now he's thinking how to serve the Father. I want to give back. So bhakti is that, grown-up version. Bob is amazed, My questions you solve so nicely, Bob is saying. Everyone starts to laugh with affection. Bob is just so amazed. Prabhupada is already, taken 2 steps ahead. Prabhupada says, thank you very much. So Bob says, should I ask another question now? Prabhupada says, oh, yes, yes. So like this, the beautiful exchange Srila Prabhupada is having with Bob Cohen in the hut in Mayapur, the Bhajan Kutir. And it is mentioned, we were seeing in the first video of this whole session where we saw the introduction. Bob would say that Prabhupada like to call him in between the days. Where's that Bob? Like to simply come and talk and discuss because he had very good questions. So like this, we end the 3rd chapter of Perfect Question, Perfect Answers. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.